Guys, here we are at our home away from home. That's right, back at Intrac Tire, and we're here because things are really coming along, guys. But the biggest thing I want to show y'all right now, the biggest thing I gotta show y'all right now is boom, the turbos are mounted, y'all. The turbos are mounted to the engine, trans, everything complete. Y'all see the hot side piping is in. That's gonna go out to the exhausts. Wow, this is crazy, man. How things are just coming along so smoothly and quickly. Now, a lot of you guys are gonna ask, all right, cool. So if this is the turbo piping, right? So that's the hot side piping that goes to the hot side of the manifold, which we have two sizes of these exhaust sides, right? We have, this is a 68 millimeter, and we have the option of going 68, 66, or 68, 71, which we are gonna change to the 71. I want that bigger exhaust housing. The bigger exhaust housing I want over here, because what that means is, yes, it's gonna spool a little bit slower. The reason why the smaller ones were on there before was because initially I was gonna have a stock engine, and a stock engine is only 6.2 liters, right? But now that we have this bigger engine and a turbo cam specifically to help get the turbo spooling quicker, I feel confident that we can go with the bigger turbo housing in the back, so that this way, when it does spool, it makes all the boost, right? If this was smaller, it would limit the amount of boost that we would make up top. It would spool quicker, but it would limit the amount of boost. Now, this right here is pretty cool, right? Because it's all the wastegates, and these wastegates are actually controlled on a vacuum system, and it determines how much boost the turbo is allowed to make, or allowed to get back into the engine, right? So therefore, if y'all don't know, I'm talking to Andre right now. I'm talking to y'all like I know, but I'm learning, right? I'm learning, so I got the professional here that if I say anything wrong, he's gonna correct me. Now, if you notice, what you don't see here, you don't see any lines, right? You have a turbo, you have the wastegates, you even have, we haven't installed them yet, but we got blow-off valves and everything. That goes up front. But anyway, what you do not notice or do not see so far is any oil or cooling lines, right? You don't see any oil or cooling lines. It's just super clean. And the reason why is because we decided to go with the comp turbo. So the comp turbo, so you guys know, is oilless and air-cooled. Sick. So turbos are just so efficient, man, because what they actually do is they use the exhaust gases to spool the turbo, which the turbine, which then goes to the front side, right? And reuses, it travels from here, spins the air back this way. Instead of wasting it and it going out the car, it spins the air back this way, right? Spins it again, charges the air even more, creates all this pressure, sends that pressure out through the turbo right here, out the pipe. The turbo piping is going to come underneath. It's going to come underneath here, and it's going to come right up here back into the manifold. The throttle body is going to open and suck in all that delicious turbo air, right? But then you're going to ask yourself, but isn't that going to be hot, Stefan? Isn't that going to be super hot? Well, technically, yes, it would be, because exhaust gases are very hot. Remember, this is nothing but, an engine is nothing but a pump, right? With a bunch of explosions. And those explosions are hot because it's fire, oxygen, and fuel. Fire, oxygen, and fuel, right? So it's hot. So when it hit here, yes, it's hot. When it hits here, yes, it's hot. When it goes to here, it starts to cool a little bit, but it's still hot. But what happens is, when it comes back to here, this beautiful turbo manifold, turbo intake manifold that was built, has two intercooler bricks. These are big intercooler bricks that are in here, right? So the air goes into here, it charges up here, and then it passes that air back down through these intercooler bricks that are in here, and then it goes down into the engine, right? And it starts that cycle all over again. The cooler that you can get the air going into the engine, the more dense it'll be, the more oxygen going into the engine, and the more dense oxygen you get, the more power that you are absolutely going to make. So what is cooling these intercoolers? Is it air? No, it's water, right? So not literally water, but it's the same. I use the same Mopar antifreeze that I use for the vehicle. I use it in my cooling as well. Mix a little water in too, because in the back of the car I have an ice tank, and that ice tank passes cold water back through here. So what it's doing is it's cooling these bricks, right? But that's not gonna be enough to stay cold. So what I'm actually installing here, or having installed, what Andre is installing, what I'm having installed here is Forced Induction's inner chiller system. And their inner chiller system, what it does is it ties into the factory AC system. See the factory AC lines here? It ties into the factory AC system, goes down and around, comes out here. It's gonna plug into this little guy right here. And the system is actually gonna use the car's air conditioning to cool down the coolant that's gonna go into here. So now I won't actually need ice anymore, because it's actually gonna be being cooled over and over and over again as long as the air conditioning is running. So much so that sometimes on these supercharger lines here, these are supercharger coolant lines that goes from here to the back. It's gonna go back to the back of the turbo intake manifold. It's gonna go, then this one is gonna come from the ice tank in the back, right? And the whole system is just in a loop. The whole system is just in a loop, right? And that whole system is always gonna tie into here, which is gonna be ice cold. And basically what you're gonna see is ice on the lines. You're gonna see ice on this. This right here to the touch is gonna be freezing cold. So yes, it's hot air that comes from here, but we are gonna cool that air down significantly. We're gonna cool that air down before it goes into the motor. What that's gonna help with significantly is against high temperatures, high density altitudes, because all it's doing is creating more and more dense air going into the motor. So we got a sick setup going on, guys. This car is gonna be, the name of the game with me right now is efficiency. The more efficient I can be, the more power I'm gonna make. So that this way, yes, you know, even if I'm running on like a 93 octane tune, the car is probably gonna make about 900 wheel on 93. But let's say I'm just riding around on that 93 octane tune. It's gonna be the fastest 900 horsepower you ever seen, because it's gonna be an efficient 900 horsepower. And then another thing is stick shift cars, although they take longer to shift, as long they're not as fast, quote unquote. The thing is, they deliver the power more direct. Like for an example, every time I hit that gear, next gear, next gear, next gear. It's clicking right in every time. So, I'm just so excited. Remember I said the expert is here. He's gonna explain if I say something wrong. I said something a little bit wrong about how the turbo gases work. Can you explain what happens exactly?
All right. So the exhaust gases from the engine comes down through the exhaust manifold and into the hot side of the turbocharger. Right, so as it passes, it has no other choice but to go across the turbine blades here on the hot side and start turning this turbine here, the hot side, right? So now the hot side and the compressor side is on a single shaft, right? So as this turns here, using the exhaust gases, it also turns the compressor side. So as the compressor side turns and it builds RPM, it starts to compress the air that it pulls in through the compressor. And as it compresses the air, it will send it out to the intake.
And then, but it's still, that exhaust air is still gonna come out of here though.
That's right.
So basically it's compressing fresh air.
Yeah.
So I explained it wrong. the way I explained it and the way I thought it was is that the exhaust went here and it was like a tube to here. And that's what's spinning this. But I didn't realize that it's actually on a single shaft, that this shaft is connected and is spinning this. And this is now pulling in air. And the air that it's pulling in is compressing because it's going in that same circular motion. Right?
Right. And then too, if you notice that is the way they design the blades also.
What do you mean? How did they design the blades?
The angles.
The angle in which it pulls in the air.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's actually compressing fresh air. So if I'm racing or if I'm driving, it's pulling in the temperature of the air is ambient. It's pulling in the ambient temperature.
Yes, but as it compresses it, the temperature
rises. Right.
As it compresses.
But the way I explained it is it was compressing this air, which is already hot. So I was thinking it would make it double hot, but no, it's compressing ambient. So it's heating up from ambient though, not heating up from exhaust temperature, because exhaust temperature is extremely high. However, I did explain right that once it leaves this compressor and it goes back into the intake manifold, because the intake manifold is going to be so cold.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about that hot, that air, the ambient air, the compressed ambient air.
Yeah, you'll be running cool air.
Now, another thing that people are going to say is, well, with the turbos on the bottom, aren't you pulling in, isn't the ambient air a lot higher because it's underneath the car, it's trapped between the car and the motor?
Yeah, but I mean, with the kind of motion, how hot would that air really be that it's pulling in, you know?
Right.
It's not like it's sitting there baking, building.
Right, you're moving.
That's right.
The car is fresh air going underneath the car.
Yeah.
And the way that it's pointed, you could see it's kind of pointed down toward the ground a little bit.
Right.
So it's not pulling air from the engine side.
Right.
It's pulling air from behind the wheel side in between the suspension. So this is all just fresh air traveling.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that hot. Like, it shouldn't be much above ambient.
Yeah, but I think with the with everything that's
with the inner chiller, with the cooling. Yo, y'all can't see it right now, but I'm dancing, boy. I'm dancing because I'm so excited. Jesus, I'm so excited.
Even so, look like the GTR. Look.
The GTR is the same way. Where the turbos at on the GTR?
Right, so the turbos on the GTR is actually
closer to the engine. So it's really close up against the engine.
Close. And I mean, look at the power we're making.
1,447 horsepower. Right. Look at that smile, boy. All right, man. So,
I mean, people, they would say a lot of stuff, but everybody entitled to their opinion. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You know, and that's okay. But, I mean, we do it. We here doing it. So
right. We're not on the internet.
Right.
We're not giving theory.
That's right. So we doing it. We practical here. We doing it.
Yes, sir.
I'm making the power. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yo, boy, I tell y'all, boy, man, Jesus. We were just talking about where are we going to mount a boost controller, because if you notice up here, the same hoses that are connected to the turbos, this is what, like a solenoid? Yeah. So this is a solenoid for the boost controller.
Solenoid valve.
It's a solenoid valve for the boost controller. It's basically a boost reference to know how much it's making, right? And then these wires run inside to the cabin where I'm going to have the boost controller that we can know what's going on. And it's called gap insurance is what a boost controller really is. A boost controller is gap insurance. If somebody is ahead of you and you need to reel them in, you press the button, the signal goes to this solenoid valve, opens up and tells the wastegates, all right, let some more pressure through, spins the turbo more, makes more boost, makes more power, and you walk them down. No nitrous needed, no nothing needed, just a touch of a button. And that's why turbo is so much better than supercharger. Not only is it just more efficient because it's spinning off of the exhaust gases, no belt, right? So no more belt, no more pulling on the engine crank. The engine crank can run freely. It can just be used to spin the engine and not try to spin the engine and a supercharger. Guys, I hope you learned something from this video, man. I actually did learn some stuff too by shooting the video for you about how turbos work and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys picked up some information and continue to do so, because we're going to be making more and more videos like this with a lot more detail and doing something completely different. I'm not gonna do what everybody else is doing. I've done that already with the uppers, the lowers, and all that kind of stuff. The full bolt-ons, I've done it all with the Hellcat as far as the stuff that everybody does. So we're doing something completely new. So come back, continue to watch the videos. Actually, make sure you come back and watch the video I'm going to go film right now, which is I'm on this kick about simple setups on Hellcats and the performance that you get out of them. I don't feel like I left my car in a basic 800 wheel horsepower and 750 wheel pump gas setup long enough. I had it for a little while. My channel wasn't as big as it is now, so I didn't get a chance to spread the word enough how fast these cars are with the simple upper pulley, injectors, tune, intake, maybe some catless mids, how fast these cars are with just that setup. So I'm doing that today. Today I'm filming that video. I filmed that another one of those videos with the gray Challenger, Mr. Megatron 63 on Instagram. You go back and watch that video of when I raced the Red Eye, of when I raced that race car Challenger with that simple setup and how fast it went. Go back and watch those videos now, and make sure you come back in about 2 days and you'll see the next video, which is me racing today a silver Charger Hellcat owned by the Perfect Touch in Philadelphia. Anyway, it's your boy Stephen here from Mod2Fame, and if you like this video, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification. If you're just seeing this video and you thought you were subscribed to me, or you're subscribed to me but you haven't been getting the notifications on the videos, we post 3 videos a week. So if you're not seeing 3 videos a week, then right now unsubscribe, resubscribe, hit that bell notification, because YouTube has stopped serving you our content. So do that right now to make sure that you're staying up to date with what is going on. But it's your boy Stephen here from Mod2Fame, and here in this Dodge Durango RT, headed to the track to race and make a video for you guys. We out.